Here's the truth. Getting lean is not as aesthetic as Instagram and social media make it look. You see the pretty bowls, the aesthetic protein smoothies, the chiseled abs, and you think that that is all there is. But honestly, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that isn't shown on social media and that definitely isn't so aesthetic. I know this because I've been through it all. I was the chubby kid who thought that I could never get in shape, to being very lean, to bulking, and then being lean again, but none of it really stuck until I understood the 10 things that I'm going to share with you today. And these aren't the cute aesthetic hacks that you see on TikTok and Instagram. These are the raw and ugly truths that will actually make a difference in your fitness journey. So grab a coffee and let's get into it. Starting off with point number 1, there is no magic diet. And wait, don't click off. I know you know this, but do you really know this? Because every time there's a new fad diet on social media, everyone is jumping on it. The animal-based diet, the watermelon diet, the frugivore diet, like, what is a frugivore? Or when you see an influencer on Instagram with a super shredded six-pack and people comment,
please show us a day of eating.
And then they show a day of eating and it's not that much food. Yeah, they can eat whatever they want. They are just in a calorie deficit, and that is why they are so lean. It's not their diet that's doing anything magical for them, you know? The only difference between something like the watermelon diet and no diet at all is that if all you're eating is watermelon all day, you're simply not gonna consume that many calories.
Not to mention, you will also be lacking many nutrients that your body needs.
Also, just because somebody on social media says they can get lean eating a lot of food does not mean that you can get lean eating a lot of food. That is because a lot of food looks very different for different people. All of our bodies are different, and social media is a highlight reel. You don't know that they're being honest about what they're eating. So never base your own program off of what you see on social media. This brings me to number 2, substitutions, not sacrifices. There was some recent drama going around on TikTok where a fitness influencer shared her In-N-Out order and the burger didn't have a bun on it, and it sent people into an outrage. But she didn't make that choice because carbs are the enemy or because that one burger bun was going to cause her to gain all the weight back. She made that choice because maintaining her weight loss means that she has to make many small substitutions, not sacrifices, over time. If she wants to eat intuitively and go out for a burger whenever she feels like it, she's going to have a much easier time doing that if she sticks with the basics and has what I like to call ingredient-based meals. Successfully maintaining your fat loss is going to come down to how well you can make substitutions. Let's say you're craving a bagel with cream cheese, but instead of going out to get a bagel with cream cheese, you buy some bagel thins at the store, or you get a protein bagel and you bring it home. You use whipped cream cheese or lower fat cream cheese, or you put egg whites and turkey bacon on the bagel. This satisfies your craving for a bagel without totally throwing you off track, and it actually can be a very nutritious meal. Little changes can really add up over time. This definitely doesn't mean that you need to make sacrifices all the time, but for me it's helpful to plan a little bit in advance if I'm going to break routine, and you also have to pick up exactly where you left off the next day and wipe the slate clean. Do not let yesterday's activities affect your mindset today. And unpopular opinion, but I'm actually a very big fan of planned off-track meals. Some people think that this is a negative thing. I personally find that it helps me stay on track so well. So for example, if I'm cooking at home and eating in all week, which I actually do enjoy a lot, it's really helpful to know that I'm gonna have one meal out on the weekend and treat this as kind of like a treat meal. That way I won't have to cook, and I'll also get a little off-track moment. Eating on track most of the time makes you appreciate these meals out so much more. If I'm eating out every day, I'm not gonna appreciate that meal out, but if I'm cooking at home and having healthy meals all week and then I go out for sushi on the weekend, then that sushi is really gonna hit. I love sushi so much. And it's actually been studied that intermittent refeeds and higher calorie days actually maintain a higher metabolism when you are eating in a deficit for a prolonged period of time. They also benefit you psychologically. Which brings me to point number 3, which is that volume eating and weird food combos will be your best friend. Volume eating is basically prioritizing high volume foods and fibrous foods that help you feel full. For example, instead of eating a bowl of straight granola with milk, you could have some high protein yogurt with a little bit of that granola on top. Basically adding in nutritious, low calorie foods that will increase the volume of your meal. As I mentioned before, I also love ingredient based meals, which is basically just focusing on eating whole foods instead of processed meals. But let me warn you that a lot of the time this will not be aesthetic at all. Like, I literally just ate lunch and it was ground beef, cottage cheese, a microwaved sweet potato on top of a bowl of shredded lettuce, which sounds nasty, but it grows on you, I promise. My lunches basically always look like assembling a bunch of ingredients into a bowl. Sushi bowl themed, you can make it Greek themed, you can kind of manipulate these recipes to make them taste however you want. I also highly recommend to find reliable staples that will work for you when you're short on time or you don't have the energy to cook a full-blown meal. For example, my boyfriend and I really hate cooking dinner, so we basically always have the exact same dinner with slightly different variations. We start with a cooked meat, and then on the side we will have a Trader Joe's salad kit. They have the best salad kits. We love the dill one, black pepper Toscana one. Serve that with the meat on the side, maybe some sweet potatoes. Quick, easy, and well-rounded meal that we can whip up in literally less than 30 minutes, or we can meal prep it ahead of time. Your priority has to be your activities and your macros. You literally have to tell yourself that you love the discipline. When your alarm goes off early in the morning because last night you told yourself that you would go to the gym in the morning and you're like,
oh my god, I don't want to go to the gym, maybe I'm just gonna sleep in.
Think about how you tomorrow will think about your decision today. Will you tomorrow be like,
Oh, I'm so happy that I didn't go to the gym yesterday.
or will you be like, wow, I'm really happy that I pushed through and went to the gym because it actually wasn't so bad. There will be times that you don't feel like cooking, but guess what? If you order out, then you're not gonna hit your macros and you're gonna go off track. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna cook. There will be times when it's raining outside and you said that you'd hit your 10K steps, but you really don't wanna go out in the rain and cold. What are you gonna do? You're gonna go out and you're gonna get your steps in. You have to learn how to create a positive feedback loop with yourself, because the more you follow through on these promises that you're making to yourself, the easier it will become and the more gratifying it will become. The more you'll start to enjoy these hard things because they prove to you that you are capable. You can do whatever you say you're gonna do. Number 5 is that sustainability and consistency will always beat intensity. I used to think that just because something was hard, that it would give me the results I wanted. I would do HIIT workouts in my room and I would be like,
Wow, this was so hard. This definitely has to be giving me results, right?
just because an influencer is showing you a HIIT workout or an ab circuit, that does not mean that that is what they actually do to get in shape. Consistency is always the answer over intensity. And the best part is that it actually feels easier. It's literally walking. Like, walking is easy. Find a movement that's sustainable for you to do consistently. For me, it's 10K steps a day. And honestly, 10K steps might seem like a lot at first, especially if you work a desk job and you're just not moving around much of the day. But I promise you, if you split it up into smaller segments, it's actually not hard at all to reach. Maybe you go for a 20 to 30 minute walk in the morning before work, 15 to 20 minute walk after lunch, and then you go for a 30 to 40 minute walk in the evening. It's about thinking ahead and planning out your activity. You also need to make sure that you are protecting your sleep and managing your stress. This is ridiculously important and honestly not talked about enough. Sleep should be your top priority. If you don't get quality rest, not only will it be hard for you to have the energy to go about your routine, but you also will be more hungry because your body releases ghrelin, which is also called the hunger hormone. Your cortisol will spike and your body will retain excess water and hold onto body fat. Aim for 8 hours of sleep and do not let anyone come in between you and your beauty rest. And there's also a difference between feeling a little bit hungry and feeling totally drained and low energy. For me, a good indicator of stress is how my skin looks. So if I'm breaking out, I know to pay close attention to how much I'm sleeping and how stressed I am. Number 7, you have to detach from emotional eating and mindless snacking, which I know is easier said than done, but I promise it gets easier over time. My first tip would be to make sure that you are filling up and eating quality meals. If you're full from a meal, you aren't going to even need or want to snack. Don't wait too long to eat breakfast after waking up, and make sure that each meal has a quality protein, a quality fat, and a quality carb. And it's also not about never snacking, it's just about finding replacements that are healthier and more satisfying than the snacks that you typically reach for. Instead of reaching for an afternoon chocolate bar, maybe crumble up a few pieces of chocolate on top of a bowl of high protein yogurt. Or instead of having just a bowl of popcorn, have it with a hard-boiled egg on the side. I'm also a huge advocate for a little nightly sweet treats. I have a bunch of different recipes that I like to alternate between, and they all satisfy my sweet tooth while also being healthier. For example, I love Yasso bars, which are basically healthier ice cream bars made of Greek yogurt. And because I know that I'm gonna eat this every single night, I'm more likely to not snack throughout the day. Number 8 is that you do not owe anyone an explanation for anything, and you do not have to tell other people what your goals are. It's okay to have different goals than the people around you. I used to feel bad when I would turn down junk food from friends, or when I would say no to an unhealthy meal because I had a particular goal I was working towards. But realistically, this actually makes no sense, because why should your choices affect anyone else? And you don't always have to turn down what they're offering, but if you don't want it and if it's not helping you reach your goals, then don't worry about offending anyone. They should not be affected by your personal choices, and if they are, then that says more about them than it does you. Number 9, you have to stop babying your progress, okay? The less attention you pay to your body, the better your results are going to be, and the more they will surprise you. I know everyone says to take progress pictures, and I used to say that too, but honestly now I think it's better to just take pictures in the very beginning of your journey and then leave it alone. Just do your routine, eat your meals, get your steps in, etc. It's like planting a seed. If you go out to your garden and you plant a seed and you know that it's getting good quality sunlight, you know that it's in fertile ground, and you're watering it every day, are you going to obsess over whether it's growing and come out and like stare at it and be like, I don't think it's growing, I don't think it's growing? No, you're not gonna do that, because you know it's gonna grow, because what else would it do? It's planted. You're doing all the right things. Treat your progress like a seed. You've planted it, you're watering it every single day, it will grow. Focus on things you can control. And number 10, it's not a destination, it's a lifestyle. Getting lean isn't about finally arriving at some perfect body and staying there forever. It's part of your life, and like life, it will have seasons and it will have ups and downs. There will be times when being lean is not important to you. There will be times when that's your goal. Once you've reached your goal once, you start to understand what healthy looks like for you. And honestly, that's way more valuable than chasing some shredded influencer physique. Because even if you could look like that, and most people can if they really want to, the bigger question is, would you actually enjoy the lifestyle that it takes to stay there? At the end of the day, it comes down to your choices. But remember, this isn't about glorifying somebody else's body. It's about building a version of yourself that feels good and that you can actually sustain. If you found this helpful, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you agree with these, if you disagree. I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.